Welcome to the deep dive. Ever noticed how sometimes we say, I see him, but then just, I see the car? Why the difference?
Exactly.
Today, we're looking into something called differential object marking, or DOM. Basically, why do some direct objects get special treatment? We're using an overview source for this.
Right. And it's a fascinating question. Why do languages bother marking the receiver of an action? Sometimes maybe with a special ending or a word like to or a, and other times, well, they just don't. What's the underlying logic?
Okay, so let's back up a bit. For anyone not deep into linguistics, what is differential object marking? Can you break that down?
Sure. Simply put, DOM is when a language treats the direct object differently depending on, well, what kind of objects it is. It's not all objects getting marked. It's selective, differential.
Perfect. Okay.
Think of it like the language shining a spotlight on certain objects.
A particular reasons.
Okay, spotlighting certain objects, but why? What's the point? Why not just, treat them all the same? Keep it simple. Well, generally it seems to help clarify things, make this sentence maybe easier to process. It can signal how important or prominent the object is in whatever's being described. It gives extra clues.
Right, extra clues. So what makes an object prominent enough? What gets it this special mark?
The overview we looked at really highlights two main things. First, animacy.
Animacy, you mean like whether it's alive.
Exactly. Living versus non-living. And second, definiteness.
Definiteness, like whether it's a specific known thing versus just any old thing.
Precisely. So objects that are higher in animacy like people and higher in definiteness like the cat, that specific cat, they're much more likely candidates for marking.
Okay, that makes a sort of intuitive sense, like pay attention to this one.
You might mark, I saw the specific person, but not, I drank water, which is, inanimate, non-specific.
And the source mentioned other factors too, right? It's not just
Yeah.
those two.
No, not always. Other things can play a role depending on the language, like how much the object is already the topic of conversation, topicality, or just how specific it is, even if not fully definite. Specificity, those can sometimes trigger marking too.
So if you start marking some objects but not others, does that mess with the sentence structure itself, how it's put together?
It definitely can. DOM can influence what linguists call argument structure.
Argument structure.
Yeah, basically how the verb relates to its subject and objects. A marked object might be treated as, well, a more central participant.
And do they behave differently in the grammar? Like, can you move a marked object around more easily?
Often, yes. Their syntactic behavior can change. Maybe they have freer word order. Or in some languages, a marked object might even cause the verb to agree with it.
Okay, is this mostly about the shape of the word changing morphology, like adding an M for him? Or is it sentence rules syntax?
It's really a mix both. The marker itself, that ending, or maybe a preposition is morphology, the form of the word. But the rules deciding when you use it and what happens in the sentence because you used it. That's syntax.
Right. And case marking comes into this too.
Yes, very often. Case marking where nouns change form based on their job in the sentence, like nominative or accusative, is a super common way DOM shows up.
Yeah.
A language might have a specific accusative case ending, let's say, but only use it for animate or definite objects.
Like maybe book us if it's the specific book, but just book if it's any book.
Something like that, yeah. That's the kind of pattern you might see.
And it's not even consistent within one language, right? The source used Spanish as an example.
Exactly. Spanish often uses a before specific human direct objects. Via Maria, I saw Maria.
But not for a table. You wouldn't say via la mesa.
Right. You just say via la mesa. But even in Spanish, it's not 100% rigid. There are nuances.
So stepping back, what does all this DOM stuff tell us about, the big picture, language and communication?
I think what's really cool is how it shows that grammar isn't just abstract rules. It's often tied directly to how we communicate information effectively. DOM is a great example of grammar, helping to manage attention and signal importance. It's at that interface between syntax and pragmatics, structure in use.
And you mentioned agreement earlier. Can marking the object actually make the verb change form sometimes?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
In some languages, that marked object gains enough grammatical status that the verb has to agree with it, maybe in number or person.
Wow. And finally, these systems aren't set in stone, are they? They change over time.
Definitely not static. Languages evolve, and DOM systems evolve with them. The rules can shift, markers can come and go. It's a dynamic part of language history, or diachrony.
Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive into DOM shows it's complicated. Whether an object gets marked often hinges on things like if it's alive, if it's specific.
Animacy and definiteness are key.
And this marking isn't just decoration. It can actually change how sentences work and how objects behave grammatically.
Precisely. It's
Yeah.
really neat mechanism language is used to organize information and kind of guide the listener.
So, a final thought for you listening. Maybe pay attention to how you talk about people versus things in your own language. Are there subtle differences? You might be using principles like these without even realizing it. Something to chew on until next time.